Now, this time for the newspapers, for us to review what the newspapers are saying this morning. And I have first with me is the Nation newspaper with the main headline, Tinubu to world leaders, change your negative view about Africa. That's the president to world leader making that statement there in Ghana. Now, French Malian Shell takes over as Super Eagles coach. Now, court reserves ruling in Orni's ex-queen Hamzat Bill applications. Next paper is Salient Times newspaper. We have nothing to prove to anyone. Stop questioning our success. That's Tinubu to Africa's critics. And above the masthead, we have suspended Edo local government chairman, remitted 12 billion naira to PDP leaders in 15 months. Okpeolo. A court bars Okiro from contesting as Ohaneze president. On the bottom strip, Ghana's Mahama sworn in as president. That's about it for the Salient Times. Next is New Telegraph newspaper. The headline, Mahama's inauguration, we shall lift our nations out of poverty, build resilient economies. That's according to President Tinubu. 18 Edo local government chairmen remitted 12 billion naira to PDP leaders in 15 months, Okpeolo. And on the bottom strip, loneliness linked to infection risk. That's according to study. And above the masthead, Nigeria's debt moved from 87.3 trillion naira to 134.3 trillion naira without growth. Next is this Nigeria newspaper. Let's lift our nations out of poverty. Tinubu charges Mahama. Says Nigeria, Ghana's bond can't be broken. New Ghanaian president promises to tackle corruption, debt, unemployment. NDLEA arrested 18,500 drug traffickers in 2024. That's according to General Buba Marwa. Now, FCT electricity consumers decry planned power interruption. Okpeolo, Edo PDP bicker over alleged remittance of 12 billion naira by suspended local government chairman. And on the ear of the newspaper, tax reforms bills disrupt January to December budget cycle. Senate panel chair argues. Next is the Blueprint newspaper. As Ghana's Mahama returns to power, Tinubu rallies African leaders on shared hope, says we can tackle poverty, youth unemployment, etc. Chief of Army Staff to troops, Nigeria depends on you to eradicate insecurity. And then at the bottom strip, man allegedly sells family home, exhumes parents' corpses in Oshun. Interesting development. Above the masthead, police arrest two for killing, burying sibling in shallow grave. Let's have the next newspaper after this. Is the Daily Independent newspaper. Tinubu asks African leaders to purge selves of Western influence. Reps vow to apply stringent parameters in considering 2025 budgets. That's about it for the Daily Independent newspaper. Next newspaper up for review is the First News newspaper. Tinubu adds Mahama's swearing in, Africa will eradicate poverty at its own pace. Nigeria Customs Service records 573,519 applications for 30,927 vacant positions. Ibadan Stampede, court adjourns ex-queen Naomi, others bill condition. And on the bottom strip, gunmen abduct 46, burn homes in Zamfara raid. Stop spreading misinformation. APC spokesman denies threatening Peter Obi. That's about it for First News newspaper. Next is Nigerian News Direct. World leaders, Tinubu celebrate Mahama in Accra for inauguration as president. Above the nameplate for the three professors kick against new Uni Abuja VC, petition Tinubu. Unpaid arrears, military retirees protest, barricade, finance ministry entrance in Abuja. Investors record first loss of 2025, lose 152 billion naira. Death threat allegations, APC allay allegations as malicious lies as Atiku demands apology. Next is the Leadership newspaper with a screaming headline, Governors shake up cabinets to assert control. Will the big stick after non-loyal appointees? Mohammed sacks 5 commissioners, rather redesignates portfolios in Bauchi, Kisina, and Sule explains cabinet sack in Nasarawa. Above the nameplate, federal government issues advisory on HMPV infection prevention. Stop suffocating opposition voices, Atiku tells Tinubu. And then military veterans occupy finance ministry over unpaid benefits. That's about it for the leadership newspaper. Next is the Hope newspaper. Unpaid entitlements, military retirees stage protest, shut down finance ministry. More tributes pouring for late Ondo SSG Temitayo Oluwatui. And then man allegedly beheads 80-year-old woman. Above the nameplate, we'll lift Africa out of poverty, that's according to the president. Or clash, normalcy returns as police arrest 19. Next is the Punch newspaper. Bandits influx, tax force meets as Amotekun police tighten southwest boundaries. PDP differs as Opewolo accuses local government chairs of 12 billion or 12 trillion naira diversion. Stampede, Orni's ex-queen, others allege illegal detention. Oyo opposes bail. And that's about it for the Punch newspaper. Let's move on to the Platform Times. NPF, that's Nigeria Police Force Cybercrime Unit, recovers 8 billion naira, $115,000 in 2024, bags African award. And the NDLEA arrests over 18,500 drug traffickers, seizes 2.6 million kilograms illicit drugs in 2024. Aggrieved ex-CBN staff sue Apex Bank over alleged unlawful termination and then seek 30 billion naira damages. Ogun Pilgrims Board commences sale of 2025 Hajj forms, set February for visa commencement. Military pensioners protest unpaid entitlements at Finance Ministry in Abuja. Nigerian atheist Mubarak Bala raises safety concerns after prison release. That's about it for excuse me, the Platform newspaper. Next is the Daily Times. Equities market index drops 0.24% as 152 billion naira wiped off market value. That's for it for the Daily Times. Next is the Nigerian Tribune. Is next. Atiku knocks APC over alleged threat to Obi. I didn't threaten Obi. Moka clarifies, says Labour Party presidential candidate has crossed the line of truth, quote unquote. Now, Africa will lift itself out of poverty, build resilient economies. That's according to President Tinubu, saying Nigeria, Ghana, bond can't be broken. ICPC takes El Rufai's aide to court over alleged money laundering. Oborewori not defecting to APC, that's according to government. That's about it for the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Next is Nature News newspaper. Climate extremes in 2024 devastate global water systems. And Wapan Hills Police Minister over manhole cover vandals arrest. Lagos State enforces total ban on single-use plastics. That's about it for the Nature News newspaper. Let's move on to the Nation Sport and Live, which definitely is the last that we have. Eric Shell is now Super Eagles head coach. Nigerians boo NFF. Chelsea leading the chase for Mino. And then we have so many other news items on the front page of the Nation Sport and Live that you can definitely grab a copy and keep yourself abreast of the news developments in the country today. Veronica, so many news items, so many news to chew on this morning. One of those is the one we found in front page of the Nation newspaper, Salient Times, etc., where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the inauguration of the brand new president of Ghana, well, even though he's just second coming right. of Dramani Mahama, you know, he said, Tinubu to world leaders, change a negative view about Africa. Other places also said, Tinubu to Africa critics, or Africa's critic, we have nothing to prove to anyone, stop questioning our success. So this is the president, you know, everywhere he goes, making bold statements, making, you know, clear statements that, listen, we are right on top of our game. And then it's just going to be an amazing African nation.
Of course, he has the right to make statements, and these statements have been generating reactions. A lot of persons have been talking about it, that some of the things that he mentioned, charity begins at home.
That's right.
If we were talking about criticizing efforts being made, African leaders ensuring that they fight poverty, what's happening in your house as well. Have you dealt with what is going on in your house? Of course, but there is no harm in encouraging leaders to do what is the needful as it is. Africa, we know, has all the resources.